So I'm just leaving it in God's hands. No one seems to understand. I'm avoid fire. How to avoid fire. I'm just leaving it in God's hands. No one seems to understand. I'm avoid fire. How to avoid fire. Now that I think about it, Lord, only you can save me. I see some demons in my past, cause of you I faced them. I fell off, landed on my face, it's you that picked me up. How you keep on loving me, even when I'm messing up. Wipe me down, clean me up, okay, keep on pressing on. He created me to worship, now the worship getting strong. Trials and tribulations sent to break me, devil, know you're wrong. Praise to God, Hannah's still alive and you didn't call her home. OMG, Hannah's getting better, miracles you show. As I bought up 30 downers, I just took the overdose. Sis and mom, yeah, they praying for me, giving God the glory. Oh Lord, please forgive my soul pain I'm holding on. Dear God, please to take control before I lose control. Third day, that's the day it rose the price to save our soul. Chosen child, ministry of mine is what I'm going to do. Took a stand, I'll be the one to so he'll use. So I'm just leaving it in God's hands. No one seems to understand. I'm bored fire. How to avoid fire. I'm just leaving it in God's hands. No one seems to understand. I'm bored fire. How to avoid fire.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? My wife is so funny, y'all. Oh my God, I love my wife. She makes me smile. How's everybody doing this morning, man? I pray that everybody is doing great. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Bishop Chronicles podcast, Daily Manna. Okay, this is where we kind of give you guys 30 minutes of a topic. Not the full podcast, like an hour and a half that we normally do on Mondays, but just about 30 minutes just to give you some food to eat. Amen. Listen, so we are still in our Marriage Exposed series. Okay, we just did the third episode of it, if I'm not mistaken, this past Monday. And if you didn't catch it, I'm telling you right now, you need to go check that thing out. But today we are still continuing with the Marriage Exposed topic, and we are talking about it doesn't mean they don't love you. And these are specific topics that people do, and we misconstrue, and we say, oh, well, you're doing that because you really don't love me. Now, when we talked on Marriage Exposed Part 3, we talked about some things that people would do that's taking advantage of a marriage. But these are things that people do that make you really question whether you love them. They love you or not. And this is not just in marriage, this is in relationship as well. And what I want to do is I want to explore some questions. So I opened up my Twitter feed. So if you guys are not following me on Twitter, please follow me at Bishop Chronicles Podcast. But I opened up my Twitter feed and I just did a poll. And I said, I just list some things of what people thought that a person could do in a relationship or a marriage or whatever. And the outcome of that is you must don't love me. That's why you did that. Okay, so I'm going to go over some of those things, and I normally make a list of it and then put it down, but I'm not going to do that today. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that we just kind of go over some things. We're going to talk about them real quick, and we're going to kind of break them down and really find out if this is something that someone does just because they don't love you. Okay, I'm going to start off with the obvious one: cheating. Okay. I'm going to start off with this one because guess what? It's the main thing that a person can do, and you can say, hey, listen, they don't love me. You must don't love me if you cheated on me. So when we was talking about, when we was going over Bishop Chronicles podcast, one of the things we was talking about is things that people do, but also, to kind of take advantage of the situation. But another thing we were talking about is when does it become your fault? Okay, hold on. I don't want nobody to get mad at me. I'm not talking about cheating as someone else's fault. But I want to explore it because if a person cheats on you, does that mean that they don't love you? Okay? And I'm just saying that. So once again, I'm not saying, my wife probably looking at the screen like, okay, dude, watch yourself. I'm not saying that cheating is okay. I do not condone it. Don't believe in it. I look at it as lying. But I still want to see if within the action, there's a question. And there's an answer to the question to maybe strengthen and build the relationship. Because one of the things I'm trying to do on Marriage Exposed is I'm trying to help build relationships. I'm not trying to tear them down, and I'm trying to promote questions so that you can go to your spouse and say, wait, just a second. maybe it is my fault, or maybe I'm not. Maybe I need to look at me. Okay, because sometimes what we do can promote actions of someone else. But before I do that, hey, listen, want to talk about some sponsorships. Want to give a shout out to WPS Studios for making this happen. Dr. Vanell Warren, God bless you, my spiritual father. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Hey, please, guys, make sure that you check out a couple of events that are coming up. One of them is our first annual men's conference. It's still going on unless, coronavirus wipes that out. But however, we got some great speakers. Please make sure you stay connected with that. Also, make sure you guys check out Dallas Confidential TV every single Saturday at 2:30. Man, we had an awesome show last Saturday talking about denying the obvious. We were dealing with political situations in education, the LGBTQ community, and also in the church. So we really had a great time. And also make sure you catch Kingdom Faith Empowerment Center every Tuesday at 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock for Bible study, and Sunday 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock online. Okay, love you guys. Listen. Want to get back to the topic, please make sure you guys follow us on our social media feed as well, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well, okay? We're trying to make this thing go viral. We want this thing to be big, okay? But let's get back into it. So let's talk about cheating. So me and my wife had a conversation, and she is just completely against this, as opposed to when it comes to cheating. And she does not like it. She don't condone it, and rightfully so. But one of the things I posed to her, because I'm a lot more analytical than my wife. My wife's smarter than me, but I'm a little bit more analytical. I'll dig into things and be a little bit more liberal with things than she is. But let's talk about it for a second. So if a person cheats on you, and you guys are more than welcome to comment on this, but if a person cheats on you, do you feel like they don't love you? Do you feel like that if this man cheats on you, or this woman cheats on you, do you feel like they don't love you? And I agree. I don't think that's the case. And let me explain to you why. I believe every action, there's a reaction. I believe every action has a reaction. Now, once again, some people are just scum. They just got it in there, but I think you knew that before you got with them, okay? A lot of times we get with people and we hope they get better. But in reality, that doesn't hide the fact that that's who you married, or that's who you're in a relationship with. If you've known them to cheat, but you think that you're the one that's going to change them, well, you're probably setting yourself up for a letdown in the first place. But at the end of the day, if you married someone and you had no idea this is what's going on, or you got in a relationship and you didn't know what was going on, then all of a sudden you had to end up finding out that they were cheating on you, that's normally a shocker, okay? That's normally a shocker. So, but my thing is, at what point, when someone cheats on you, do you say, what did I do? Now, I'm not saying that's always the case, okay? So don't nobody blow up at me, but I'm asking because we're talking about things that people do that make you think that I don't love you, okay? That I don't love you, okay? So when doing that, hey, when a person cheats on you, what are you feeling? What do you think? What do you think? Okay? What do you think? Do you think that, well, you cheated on me because maybe I'm not doing something? When do you look at yourself? When do you look at yourself and say, well, hold on, maybe I'm the reason? Because a lot of times, and I talked about this on Marriage Exposed on Monday, a lot of times we don't look at ourselves. A lot of times we don't look at what we have done to cause certain things. And I don't care whether you think it's moral or ethical or whatever the case may be. People get tired of being tired. They get tired of being ignored. They get tired of being, forgot about. They get tired of being, thrown to the curb. And I don't care what your personal situation or issue is. People get upset when you sit up here, I'm trying to get your attention, or I'm trying to get your time, or I'm trying to get your affection, but yet you don't want to give it to me. You dedicated to your work, you dedicated to your business, you dedicated to your ministry, you dedicated to your children, you dedicated to all these things, but you don't give it to me. You don't give it to me, okay? And when you don't give something to someone, as I said in Marriage Exposed, they will go get it from somewhere else. They will go get it from someone else. And I think we take that for granted. I do. I think we take that for granted. I think we take for granted. I say we because I'm a victim of it. I've dealt with that issue to where, hey, listen, I got so involved with my work, I got so involved with my ministry, I got so involved with whatever I was doing that I neglected the person that I fell in love with. And let me tell you something. Just because I love you don't mean I'm in love with you. And that's one thing we have to think about is if you are in love with somebody, because you can still love someone but not be in love with them because so much time and situation has passed by and you're now saying to yourself, wait, hold on just a second. Maybe this person, it doesn't love me anymore. Maybe they're not attracted to me anymore. So maybe I need to go look somewhere else. Because one of the things that I talked about was communication. Are you communicating with a person well enough to sit up here and really get that issue out in the open? How many people in your relationship, I'm going to ask this question, how many people in your relationship or that have relationships, do you really go to your spouse and say, listen, I'm not as attracted to you as I once was, or we don't talk like we used to, so I feel like I need to go talk? How many people are upfront with that? And really go out and say, hey, listen, if you don't give me the time and you don't give me the love that I need, I may go somewhere else. And it doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean, because I really want to make it work, but I'm not going to make it work and I get my feelings and my emotions get compromised at the same time. Again, I am not condoning cheating. But when a man or a woman cheats on you, you have to start asking questions. You got to start saying, wait, hold on. Why would a person do that? If you claim that you're in love with me or you claim that you love me, why in the world would you do this? Why would you mess up what we have and mess up what we created or mess up what we could create if you know, but you cheat on me? And 9 times out of 10, especially women, because women are emotional, women will say, well, you can't love me, and we don't want to explore that maybe it's not that I don't love you, maybe it's the fact that I can't deal with who you become. Now, once again, I'm not condoning cheating, but we have to start asking these questions because watch this. If we can get to the root of it and the bottom of it, maybe we could get past whatever hump that is that caused me to do it in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad position. The problem is we don't want to have a lot of conversation. We don't want to talk about it. We want to hope things blow over. But watch this. You'll go tell somebody else, and this is man and female. We'll go tell someone else, oh, well, I can't believe she did this to me. When I was married before, my first wife, situation happened, and all of that. And I thought, oh my God, you just didn't love me anymore. That wasn't the case, because years later, when we finally had a conversation about it, she told me like, hey, listen, you were gone, almost 24 hours out of a 24-hour period. You were always out to sea. You were always doing something. I had nobody here. So even though you were a great provider, even though, you were a great guy, I didn't know that person because you were never here. So I got to know someone else. It wasn't intentional. And I had to look at me. I had to look at, wait, hold on. So what I did or did not do caused your reaction. It didn't mean you didn't love me, but it meant that because I was not filling my end of the bargain, because I was not doing what I was supposed to do, guess what? It caused you to do what you had to do. So, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I want marriages to stay together. And the minute somebody says, oh my God, he cheated on me or she cheated on me, y'all ready to go get divorce papers, as if you was waiting on that to happen. Or the minute, you find a girl in his DM, or the minute that you find out that she done had dinner with another old friend or her ex-boyfriend, you ready to, I'm ready to cause havoc in my house. And we're not exploring the question, do they love you or not? Does this mean that they don't love you just because they did this? Why not explore the fact that maybe there's something you are not providing for them? And we try to front. That's one thing we always do. We try to front. We try to act like in public that everything is okay. We try to act like in public that we don't have problems. We try to act like nothing's going on. We try to act like everything is hunky-dory, but yet y'all argue every single day at the house. Y'all fuss every single day at the house. He ain't doing what he got to do. She ain't putting out like she need to. The kids are tripping. She wanted to be 50-50. You saying it can't be 50-50. And it's all kinds of chaos instead of y'all sitting down having a conversation before it gets to a point to where you do something that has to question whether you love each other or not. And once again, my whole thing in Marriage Exposed is to help marriages. Even in my own marriage, I'm one of those guys where it's like, hey, listen, I live by what I say. And at the end of the day, if my wife cheated on me, I'm going to be upset because I'm hurt. And I don't think I'm as much hurt as I am, you done messed up my ego and my pride because I'm like, oh my God, I'm less than a man. But once I get past all of that, I got to start asking questions. I got to ask, wait, hold on. Why would my wife with these children, and I don't want to just stay on cheating, but this is just one of those things where we'll say, and somebody will do, and we'll say, oh, well, you don't love me because you cheated on me. And we don't want to ask questions. And a lot of marriages are being destroyed, and people call themselves being separated and go and do something retarded, when really all y'all had to do was have a conversation. And what you'll find out is really you're the reason. You're the reason. We don't like finding out that we're the reason why you did something so crazy. And then we act like we can't forgive them. That's crazy. But but I got to forgive the fact that you didn't want to treat me like you were supposed to, but you can't forgive the fact that I cheated on you. That don't make sense to me. If I've got to forgive how your behavior, you got to forgive my behavior. I don't need you to keep bringing it up. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to get to a point to where we're asking more questions. We got to get to a point to where we're saying, wait, hold on. That's not your characteristic. Now, if that's already in your characteristic, that's different. Some of y'all are dealing with people, and that's in their characteristic. That's all you done known them to do, and you just hoping and praying that God will deliver them and they get better. But some folk, they do stuff, and it's not in their character. If my wife cheat on me, that's not in her characteristic. Okay, if I cheat on my wife, that's not in my characteristic. So if you don't ask questions, then you're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. So at the end of the day, my daughter is over there, y'all. She listen. Girl, cut that down. Okay. My daughter over there, she listen. I don't know what she's singing and everything. But seriously, if you are in my house and you're doing something that I don't know you to do, we're finna talk. We're going to talk because I need to know who you are. Because if you're not who I married or who I'm in a relationship with, then I need to find out who you are so I can get you with the right person. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times we don't want to accept the fact that we've changed. We don't want to accept the fact in our relationship that we've changed. Anybody done changed in your relationship? You done changed. You see what I'm saying? And you done changed and you don't know whether it's for the good or the bad. A lot of people don't like change. They just don't. Whether it's for the good or bad. If my wife had long hair when I met her, all of a sudden you cut all your hair off, so I'm going to think you're going through an identity crisis. We don't even look at the fact that, hey, maybe you changing because you just want to spice it up. I talked about that on Marriage Exposed. So at the end of the day, what we have to look at is, wait, hold on. Why is this going on? Why did this happen? Why is this person all of a sudden doing something that is uncharacteristic of what I know them to do? Okay. The second question, and once again, we can go on and on about the cheating thing, but I'll cover that again on Marriage Exposed next week. Y'all make sure y'all tune in for next week because we're going to have it's going to be a crazy show next week. So you guys make sure that you join me next week because we're going to be dealing with that cheating thing as well. But another thing that people do to make them say that I don't love you is the fact that they don't spend time with them. Oh, well, you don't spend time with me because you must don't love me. Once again, that goes back to, oh, okay, well, you must be doing something else. And normally, if you're not spending time with your spouse or your significant other or your partner or whatever the case may be, they think you're spending time with someone else. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about the reason why I don't want to spend time with you? It's the same reason don't nobody else want to spend time with you? I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm trying to promote conversation in your marriage. I'm trying to promote communication in your relationship. Because if people are not doing something that you know them, if me and my wife communicated every single day, then all of a sudden I quit communicating, she's going to think like, wait, hold on, what's going on? Who are you talking to? Especially when I'm not at the house. But in her mind, she has to either be able to say, wait, hold on, that's not like my husband. Something must be wrong. If as a wife, she doesn't say, wait, hold on, let me go to my man and see what's going on, that's her fault. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just using it for an example. Y'all know I'll use myself as an example. So if you're sitting there and your woman ain't talking to you and she ain't, but you know her to conversate with you, you know her to talk to you all the time, but all of a sudden she ain't wanting to talk to you, partner, something is wrong. You better start asking some questions. You don't have to throw out no accusations. You need to start asking some questions. And the first question is not, do you love me or not? But we'll take the lack of time to signify and symbolize, oh, you must don't love me no more. That's why you don't want to spend no time with me. That's why you don't want to talk to me no more. That's why you don't want to deal with me no more, because you must don't love me anymore. And that's not even the case. And we don't want to ask questions because we're scared that the answer may reveal something in us that we tried to leave buried for so many years. And when in reality, that thing that you got buried could be killed just by revealing something else. But we don't want to do that because we don't want nobody to attack our pride, men. We don't want nobody to hurt our feelings, women. So we don't want to sit up here and ask you what the problem is, because I may say the problem is you, and now that you know the problem is you, if you want this thing to work so I don't fall out of love with you, you better start changing some stuff. And a lot of time people are not scared. They claim like they're not scared of somebody leaving and doing this, that the devil is a lie. If you've been in a relationship with somebody more than 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you don't want them to leave because you don't know nobody else. You done got used to this person. You know what? You know how much damage and psychological trauma and emotional trauma it causes a person to have to leave something that's all they know, and then all of a sudden they got to go start over. So y'all got to quit trying to make it seem like you big and bad and, oh, well, if you're going to leave. You don't want them to leave. Are you dumb? Fix it. But the way you fix it is not accusing them of not loving you. The way you fix it is asking questions. The way you fix it is basically saying, hey, listen, so we need to talk. Now, I'm not saying accepting the okie doke, as my dad used to call it. I'm not saying sit up here and be like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to accept what you say, so now it's all my fault. No. If the responsibility falls on them, it falls on them. But I'm not going to say you don't love me, but I need to talk about our love. And I need to make sure if what you're doing is a symbolism of you not being in love with me. Because sometimes I can love you, but I'm not in love with you. The reason why I don't want to have a conversation with you, or the reason why I don't want to talk to you or be in your presence, is the same reason don't nobody else want to be in your presence, because you got an attitude problem. You lie all the time. You ain't interested. You always in your own world, and I ain't got time to be around nobody who always in their own world, and I ain't included in it. So sometimes you got to realize, wait, hold on, you're the reason why they don't want to be around you. That's why I tell people, listen, you got to watch your mouth. You got to watch negativity. You can take it for granted. So if I don't want to be around you, then I'm going to go be around somebody else that I want to be around. So you got to start asking some questions, because if you want to keep your relationship intact, you need to find out why your man or your woman don't want to be around you. And it ain't because they don't love you. It's just they sick and tired of being around you with the same old foolishness. And if you allow them not to be around you, watch this. If you allow them not to be around you for a certain length of time, and they start being around something else that they like, guess what? They're going to start building a relationship. That thing that they started begun to like. And they're going to sever a relationship that the thing that they should have been like. And you just got to take responsibility for that. You can sit up here and say, oh, well, I don't condone it, and that's whack and odd. No, that's selfish. You got to look at yourself. You got to look at yourself. And in relationships, we don't look at ourselves. In marriages and partnerships, we don't look at ourselves. We want to blame it on every single thing but ourselves. You don't want to tell yourself that you are the weakest link. You are the problem. We don't like doing that. And that's why relationships fail. That's why marriages fail. That's why you got kids that are sitting here that don't understand the value of relationship. They don't understand the value of parenting. And watch this. They fail, and you got so many single mothers. You got so many single fathers. You got kids that don't know that. The reason for that is because y'all don't want to communicate. I tell my son's mother all the time, the reason why we got an issue sometimes because you don't want to talk. You don't like talking. And I'm a talker. So if you can't communicate with me, you're going to have a problem with me. And I'm the first to tell people, and I don't care whether a person agree with it or not, but watch this. My weakness before I got saved was women. And I don't care how saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost you is. Whatever weakness you got, if it was dope, if it was crack, if it was prostitution, men, women, lying, whatever it was, you got a possibility to dip back into it depending on the situation and circumstance. Don't tempt me, try me, or try to push me to go back into a lifestyle that I changed because I got with you. And we take that for granted in relationships. You understand what I'm saying? So if your woman, used to be out there and had that party life and do all these things here, but yet you don't want to pay her no attention. You don't want to act like you married. Well, she gonna dip back into the thing that she comfortable in the most. So she gonna start all of a sudden going out with her homegirls. She gonna start out all of a sudden get caught in bars. She gonna get caught out all of a sudden on phone calls all the time, gossiping and all that. Why? Because she can't talk to you. And you will swear that the reason why she ain't talking to you because she don't love you no more. No, it ain't that. It's because you don't get it together. And you don't want to look at yourself enough to say, I don't get it together. If I don't get it together, I'm going to lose my baby. And that need to be the thing. Gaslighting people. I don't even know what that means. My wife be using terms, y'all. I don't even know that. Oh, you mean folks should stop gaslighting people? I guess. I mean, I'm sure if you said it, honey bunny, that I'm sure it's a legitimate question. I'm sure it's a legitimate question. But anyway, but my whole thing is this: you got to make sure that you are examining yourself. You got to make sure that you are the one that are exposing yourself sometimes. Don't try to expose somebody else and you ain't been exposed and you won't expose yourself. That's a hypocrite. Don't try to look for what somebody else didn't do, but yet you got all these faults and now you don't want to admit them and you don't want to stand on them and don't want to talk about them, but you want to talk about what the next person. You can't do that. Because now, and certainly, let me say this, y'all, make sure you do not go talk to nobody else. Y'all leave other people out of your business, okay? Quit involving social media in your mess. I'm telling you right now, that's the worst way to get yourself in a problem in your relationship is involved. I see too many people on Facebook sitting up here talking about what's going on in their house, and now you mad because your husband done hooked up with your homegirl, and now you mad because guess what? She know everything about your husband. I'm just throwing it out there. If you don't want your husband or your wife to do something that would make you say they don't love me, then you need to keep your nose clean and your ears to the ground. Marriage is work. Don't assume that person is great in marriage. Quit assuming that, just because I'm married to you, you got to be with me. Oh, because I'm married to you, you got to stay with me. You cannot cheat on me. Man, y'all crazy. They got the capability of doing whatever it is they want depending on the circumstance and situation. It's your job. Playing the blame game for your own shortcomings. Absolutely. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay. But I'm serious. And a lot of times, man, we don't want to just take fault. Like, ma'am, that's your fault. That nigga don't like you think he like you, or she don't like you think she like you. You done messed up. You're doing all kinds of other stuff. And you want to be able to go home to her and think that she's supposed to accept what you're doing. How long you think she going to do that? How long you think she going to keep doing it? And now you want to say, oh, she tripping. No, she not tripping. You're tripping. And every time somebody exposes you, you don't want to have a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? I get so tired of men. Man, I was dealing with a couple the other day. Man, I get so tired of men walking out. Dude got up and walked out of the counseling session. Wife had a great point, and I'm not just getting on men. I'm just throwing it up there. The wife had a great point. She says, well, I feel like he doesn't love me because I'm looking at what he do. Oh, man, you crazy. I pay all the bills. I clean the cars. I keep the kid, but you don't show me no love. You do all this stuff with your family. You do all this stuff with your children. You do all this stuff. And yes, you are a good man, but you don't do none of that for me. I don't care how universally and societal involved you are. If you don't do it at the house, she going to feel like, or he going to feel like, you know what? You need to go be with them. Because she going to feel unloved. And it may not mean that he don't love you, but depending on how they grew up, depending on where they come from, that's how they experience love. Some people experience love based on the love that they were given. Real talk. Some people experience love based on the love that their mom and dad gave them. And they don't know how to love you. They know how to love you through doing other things with other people. And through the outside looking in, they know how to love. But from the inside out, they don't know how to love because in their household, they didn't have love growing up. There's a lot of people that didn't experience love from their mother and father when they were growing up. There's a lot of them. So they cling to the church, they cling to the pastor, they cling to all this other things, school, all this other stuff, because you didn't know how to love. You never got loved in the house. So you don't know what love is. So now you're kind of fighting and trying to go through the gap and everything to try to figure out what love really is. And you hope you get it right just to find out that you done messed off the very thing that tried to show you some love. Because you never wanted to really figure out how to be in love with somebody or love someone. And I don't care what nobody says. You can love somebody in marriage, but if you're not in love with them, hey, listen, y'all won't be married long. That marrying just for love ain't gonna kick it no more. You got to marry for being in love. And it's a difference in loving someone as opposed to being in love. And a lot of people, watch this, a lot of people don't like talking about relationship because exposure happens. That's why a lot of people don't like getting on relationship posts. Because, watch this, they don't want to have to self-examine themselves and they don't want to have to look at the fact that, wait, hold on, maybe I'm the reason why chaos is happening in my house. You can have all kinds of detriment situations and circumstances that go on in your house. Watch this now. But if you in love with somebody and you can communicate with them and you willing to say, hey, it's my fault sometimes, or hey, I'm not perfect, or no matter how, in my house, listen, I don't care how many degrees I got or whatever the case may be, I can be wrong. I can be wrong. And because I can be wrong, that means that, hey, listen, my wife has to be right. Just like she can be wrong. And I can be right. But if you can't communicate that and you can't say, wait, hold on, you know what? I'm wrong or you right or whatever, then guess what? You won't have a strong marriage. You won't have a big relationship. And just go over that with you guys. Listen, I'm about to get out of here. My 30 minutes is up. But listen, man, I encourage you. Just because they do something, it doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means that y'all need to talk. Y'all need to have a conversation. Y'all need to really deal with whatever issues are going on. Y'all need to deal with, hey, listen, why is this happening? Especially if it gets to a point where you got adultery or you got cheating or something like that. Y'all need to talk. It don't mean that, oh, he a dog or she a slut or she this, that, and that. It don't mean that. It just means that, wait, there's some other things that are going on that y'all need to discuss, especially if what they're doing is uncharacteristic. Okay? So listen, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Listen, join me tomorrow at 11 o'clock, man, when we do this again. We're going to have morning manna again. Daily manna again. But listen, I encourage you guys, man, keep following us, man. Please follow us on Bishop Chronicles Podcast on all 3 social media sites. Well, 4, I'm sorry. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, man. We're trying to get this thing to go viral. A lot of things are getting ready to go up, guys. I'm telling you, man. It's just so many things that God is doing, man, with this show, man. I'm so excited for his favor. Y'all just stay tuned, man. We got some new partners. We got a lot of great things going up, and man, we're going to break this thing, man, and we're going to make it, man, national, okay? So y'all hang with me, man. Y'all keep sharing this thing. Y'all keep allowing people to come to it, man. Keep doing watch parties, man. Everybody do a watch party, okay? Go down to the right, down at the bottom, and press watch party, man. And keep sharing this thing, man, because I'm telling you, I want to make sure that I bring content, throwing the other person under the fire because it takes 2 to be committed and it shouldn't be used as an excuse to be less than faithful in marriage. Absolutely correct. I agree with you. And that's my wife talking, y'all. She's absolutely correct, you know? I would never make an excuse, and nobody should make an excuse for doing something wrong in your marriage. But at the end of the day, conversation needs to happen. Communication needs to happen, okay? And that's the big thing in marriage. Marriage with no communication is going to be a dead marriage, okay? And that doesn't mean, watch this, that doesn't mean after the communication, you guys still shouldn't leave each other alone. It don't mean that. But at least you should always be able to lead amicably. You should always be able to say, hey, listen, let's put this aside and let's grow from what event has happened. Too much animosity has happened. I've seen too many relationships when the man cheated or the woman cheated. Guess what? The man go, the woman go, and now they use the kids in the middle. And now all of a sudden, the kids are the ones suffering because you two grown folks can't get together and just have a communication and expose each other and just realize that both of y'all dead wrong. Y'all don't need to be together, but you're dead wrong. That's all I'm saying. Okay, but listen, man, I'm getting out of here. Listen, before I get out of here, do me a favor. Make sure you guys put on your calendar May 22nd through the 24th. We got our first annual men's conference. Wonderful speakers. We got the Apostle Quincy Slaughter. We got Pastor Mickey Gerald. We got my frat brother, Pastor Stefan Dearden. And we have a wonderful workshop on the 23rd, starting at 10 o'clock and ending at around 12:30. We have the Apostle LeGrone and we have Apostle Vanell Warren, my spiritual father. Also, guys, make sure this Saturday, make sure you join us live, man, at 2:30 with Dallas Confidential TV Internet Talk Show. We are doing big things, man. I'm telling you, we are in episode 4 in our 10-show pilot. Man, I'm telling you, God is blessing. And always make sure you visit us online, Kingdom Faith Empowerment Center, at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, but also catch our services Tuesday, Bible study, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And also make sure that you catch us on Sundays, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Listen, I thank you guys. I love you for joining the show, man. Remember to uplift Christ wherever you go, and do me a favor. Make sure you have make the rest of your day the best of your day. Love you guys, man. I'm out of here, man. Peace. But I've been Baptist, I've been in the Methodist church, all of that.